pretty sure all you see me wearing is this lately, or a variation of this. Just accept it for what it is, okay? Because this is just me in my natural form. Looking like a glazed donut potato. Okay, let me go get my hormone test. Pretty sure it's arrived. I pretty much now 10,000 steps just with half an hour walk with Flynn and just me walking up and down these stairs and around this house on a daily basis. Okay, where can I pop you? Because we need to have a chat. Good morning. I think this is probably like the first time I've actually had a chance to like properly sit down with you and explain a little bit about what I'm doing right now. This is a hormones test. I am getting prepped. I think I've got like T minus maybe 5, 6, 7 days until I am stopping the contraceptive pill. I am terrified. I don't even know where to start. But basically I am going to be stopping the contraceptive pill. I'm 29 years old. I'm almost 30. I'm 30 next year. I've been on the contraceptive pill since I think I was about maybe 14, 15 years old. And this all kind of started with this idea that you know when you get an idea in your head and you just can't get it out. And this video and the things I'm sharing in today's video might be very TMI. And sometimes I honestly dabble in this space of like, am I oversharing? Because you know, you hear people online talk about like how sad it is when people like overshare on the internet and like it's not appropriate. And sometimes I do get scared. Like I wonder if like, am I that person? Like, am I oversharing? But I just feel like if I'm going through this right now, maybe this might help somebody. Maybe this might help somebody at some point in time who either is feeling a bit off or just wants to quit contraceptive or like a hormone-based contraceptive. This might be helpful to you. Let me just rewind. So like I said, I've been on the contraceptive pill. I've been on hormonal based contraceptive since I was like 14, 15. I had this idea in my head and now I can't get it out. And this time I'm gonna try to do it like properly. Okay, we're going balls to the wall. I'm doing this and I'm gonna try to do it the best way I can. And we are doing it like the Caitlin way, which is probably the overkill crazy Caitlin way, but that's just how I do things. I was on Estelle basically since I was like 14. Half of my life, and then up until like 3 months ago I moved over to Yaz, which was a decision that a GP that I thought would be worth doing. Since moving over to Yaz, I don't know if it's a coincidence, but the last 3 months have been fucking hell for me. Okay, hell. Other than my skin, like these really angry, and I know they may not be a lot to some people, but like this isn't normal for me. Angry skin, like my anxiety has gotten so much worse. And when I say to you that like I'm constantly feel like I'm on the verge of dying, like I've been getting so many panic attacks. I haven't had like this frequent anxiety and this much panic since like my early 20s. I had a panic attack 2 weekends ago. I had a panic attack. I was trying to sleep and my ear was hurting. And I thought that was a valid reason to start having a panic attack. Like I'm talking like convulsing, like my body was shaking, my heart was racing. I felt like I was gonna vomit. I was like, I couldn't breathe properly. I felt like I was gonna die. That same weekend, so like Friday night, panic attack. Saturday, I was driving to the markets with my boyfriend. Just started randomly crying. Couldn't tell you why. That night, I was convinced that my boyfriend and my dog loved each other more than they did me, which I genuinely still believe that to be the case. But that was a reason for me to just start hysterically crying. Last night, I woke up in a tizzy, in a panic. I woke up, I was out of my bed, my heart was racing. I'm having just like the most, like, went to a painting class just the other day, Saturday night. Before the painting class, I mean, I'm not sleeping either, random side note, not sleeping. Before the painting class, I almost didn't want to go because I just, again, started just crying. My boyfriend was like, are you okay? What's wrong? I couldn't tell him. I didn't know what was wrong. Yeah, and other than just like an uncontrollable amount of anxiety and like, it's something I've always had. I've always had anxiety. I've always suffered with like I don't like that word. I've always experienced like little bits of depression. I've always experienced depression now and then. Again, how TMI is too TMI. Libido, where is she gone? Hello, where are you? I don't know where she's gone. And you know, I've spoken to GPs about this before, and I don't know what this is, but like they're so adamant on keeping me on the contraceptive. What is that about? I meet so many GPs who are insistent on keeping me on the pill, and when I tell them I want to go off hormone or contraceptive, they suggest things like the Marina, and they're like, oh, it's only a tiny bit of artificial hormones. I'm like, you are not listening to me. I want to get off artificial hormones. Can't get a copper IUD, by the way, because I actually had my copper levels tested with my naturopath. This is a completely different side rant I'm about to go on, but I have always had low iron. It all ties in, by the way. I've had low, I think it does. I've had low iron for as long as I can remember, like low iron levels. And I recall a few years ago, a doctor wanted to give me an iron infusion. Didn't make sense to me, and I'm someone who wants to know more. I take iron supplements. I've always taken iron supplements. I eat iron-rich foods, and I was trying to explain this to the doctor. I'm like, do you know why my iron is low? Because I just don't understand. Like, I take iron supplements and I eat iron-rich foods. Like, this doesn't make sense. And they just either didn't know the answer or really couldn't, like, didn't have the time. I mean, I'm well aware that the medical industry is kind of semi-broken. Like, you go in for something, it's a localized issue. They have 10 minutes to talk to you about it. And I think of my whole body as like a whole working system. Like, one issue is not just standalone on its own, like, but my whole body is connected. Logically, that's how I see it. So yeah, I ended up getting my copper levels tested with my naturopath. My copper levels are actually double what they're supposed to be. I'm trying to get my copper levels normal, which is why I'm drinking these various things with my naturopath, and I also am on these vitamins. He's also warned me that trying to remove copper from your body can cause a bit of anxiety within your body. So yeah, that could also be why my anxiety is like even worse. Funnily as well, that's why I can't really get the copper IUD just yet, because I don't want to put more copper in my body if I've already got high copper levels. All of this is connected, and funnily, from my conversation with my naturopath, I was like, how do I have high copper? Like, why would I have high copper? He said that a possible cause of the high copper is, I think he said the estrogen, one of the hormones that in the pill, can cause high levels of copper. So all of this seems connected to me, and I just can't put it to rest now. I'm currently listening to an audiobook that I highly recommend. It's called How the Pill Changes Everything by Dr. Sarah E. Hall. It's amazing that you really can't find that much information on the effects of the pill online. I really had to dig for this and find this book, and yeah, I feel like I'm just exposed to a whole new world of information now that I just can't put to rest. And I guess the biggest takeaway that I've learned, I'm only like 5 chapters in, but hormones, like, you are not separate from your hormones. You are your hormones are yourself. They affect so much of who you are, and I just, probably like a bad time to go off the pill, to be honest, like now that I'm just in a, like, an actual relationship now, but I want to know who I am off the pill. The research shows that artificial hormones, like, who am I? I don't know. Like, am I an anxious, depressed person with no libido? Or is it just because I've been on the pill since I was 15, so that's who I think I am? Like, who am I when I'm not pumped with artificial hormones? Am I like a happy-go-lucky, carefree, you know, don't have panic attacks about my ears, you know, sexual minx? Maybe I am, but also maybe I'm not. So yeah, I'm trying to go on this little journey. I feel like it's literally gonna be, I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to be a realist, but I'm also trying to be positive. I think it's gonna be a bumpy ride, okay? I think Prisoner of Azkaban, when Harry Potter gets on the bus, you know, the little guy, hold on, it's going to be a bumpy ride. That's literally how I feel. Like, this could very well be a bumpy ride, but I feel like I'm trying to do everything in my power to make it as smooth as possible. I'm 30 years old, I've never had my hormones tested, so I'm doing that. I feel like that's something that everyone should know, every woman should know, because I guess I didn't realize how much of an integral part your hormones are, and how much they play into who you are, and how you think and how your brain works. So, you know, am I just an anxious ball with constantly intrusive thoughts who panics and freaks out and stresses about everything and just randomly cries and thinks that the world is ending, and, you know, find myself in feelings of depression and very little gets me excited and I don't really have much of a libido? Or is that just the pill? Who am I? Who am I not on the pill? It's basically what I want to find out. I'm scared. I'm not only scared about what it's like, how it's gonna make my body feel. When am I gonna see my period again? I don't know. Like, am I just gonna walk around with a permanent nappy on? Maybe. My skin, terrified for how ugly I'm gonna feel. Terrified, like, how is it gonna affect my relationship? So many things that I'm like freaked out about. So I thought I'd take you on this. This might be a series because I feel like it's gonna take a good few months to kind of balance this all out. And I'm hoping with the help of my beauty therapist, my naturopath, you guys, that this will be a smoother ride. So that is the short version. Talking for 23 minutes. I think this cost me 240 bucks. I think it's gonna be the best 240 bucks I've ever spent. And I'm gonna do one now, and I'm probably gonna do one again in a few months because I wanna see where I'm at, where I'm sitting. Because yeah, there's so much about the pill that I didn't know, and I don't think a lot of people know. So I really, really recommend that you read that book or listen to that book. I'm listening to it because I tend to like to read my fiction and listen to my non-fiction. So that's just how I like to roll. You know, it's funny, if my boyfriend noticed, like, he's like, you've been really different the last 3 months, like 2-3 months. And that's since I changed over the pill. And some of you might be wondering, why don't you just go back to Estelle? Chronic thrush. Other than that, like the blood clots, I just don't want to be on artificial hormones anymore. I don't want to be on it. I want to be me with as little medication in my body as possible. And honestly, the risk of stroke, blood clots, and like cervical cancer, it's enough to send me over the edge and freak me out, and I just don't want it in my body anymore. I want my body to be me and not some artificial hormone-based version of me. Tired. It's a bit of a late start to my day. Again, I was up at like 4 a.m. Couldn't sleep. So yeah, I think I managed to get to sleep at about 7, and it's about 8 o'clock now. So today is the day for my hormone testing. I can tell today is gonna be different. They do say to strictly avoid caffeine, which is what I'll be doing today. And now I have to spit in this all the way up to like the neck of the bottle. I have to get saliva all the way up here, and I have to do that 4 times today. I don't think you want to see that, but that's what's happening. Halfway there. Woo! Well, I've got a lot of spit bubbles. It says not to do spit bubbles, but I can't help it that my saliva is bubbly. I don't know, do you want me to come back and do all 4 with you? Pretty much the same procedure really, isn't it? Apparently it's a 5-day turnaround with collection, so yeah, that is exciting. After this I'm going to get into my PJs, but I just thought we could have this final moment together. You know, just to think that I've been just popping this pill in my mouth for the last 15 years without even, like, just on autopilot, without even second guessing. And that's the last one. I mean, except this one little sugar pill. And because I am how I am, I just feel like I need to finish the packet. Okay, let's strap in because it's going to be a bumpy ride. I'll update you soon. Could be within the next week. I'll touch base with you soon when I have something that's worth telling you guys. Now I think I'm gonna go take some CBD oil because my anxiety's been through the roof. Good night. Oh wait, you probably want to say good night to Flynn, don't you? Because let's be honest, that's why you're here. Say good night to your friends, please. My little sleepy bear.